Welcome to Warn Radio. With your hosts, the Watchman Dana Smith and Tower. Thanks for listening.
Greetings in the name of the Lord, and welcome to Warn Radio. This is Tower. I'm here with the Watchman, and we are glad you joined us. Please send all your prayer requests and correspondence to us through our contact page at warn-usa.com. And you can listen to our Warn Radio episodes on danaglennsmith.com and warn-usa.com. Warn Radio is on the following platforms: Amazon Prime Music and Podcast, Spreaker, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play Music, Blog Talk Radio, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Google Podcast, Deezer, Spotify, Anchor, and Pocket Cast. And do not miss the featured posts this week of our in-depth biblical articles and radio shows, featured on both warn-usa.com and danaglennsmith.com, the Materializing of Evil series, which includes Orion's Shadow and the Light Bearer. Featured on Dana Glenn Smith, Aphrodite, Coming Son of Perdition, Comforters of Job in Times of Trouble, America, Shadows of Misdirection, Witness of Jesus and the Word of God, and featured on warn-usa.com, Lion and Prophet Biblical Truth, All Things Possible, Afghan Christians, South Sudan, China Wars, Redeemed, Christian Faith, Persecution, Advocacy, Classic Warn Radio, and Book of Hebrews, Son of God, Great Salvation, Part 2. And do not miss these WIBR Warn Radio weekly shows on Wednesdays: Advocacy from March 27th, Gospel of Peace, Word of God, Missions, Believers, Faith of Jesus, and Advocacy. Thursdays: Battle Line from March 28th, Loving Kindness, Isaiah's Prophetic Book, Part 211. And Fridays: Sound the Shofar from March 29th, The Word of the Lord, Nations, Promises, Phrases, and Perpetuity, Part 12a. And be sure to get your copy of The Rising. It's a Christian fiction thriller by the Watchman Dana G. Smith, a story of personal survival, the struggle of a nation, the love of two people set amidst the prophetic landscape of perilous times. Hidden within the storyline of The Rising is the truth of what's happening in America now. Check out The Rising. When he who opposes rises, believers overcome by faith. And you can get your copy of The Rising on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Ingram, Walmart, Angus and Robertson. And The Rising ebook can be found on Google Play. You can also get your copy of The Rising by going to danaglennsmith.com and visit our Christian books and resource shop, where we feature The Rising and other Christian books, as well as resources from our Vision Media. And now I welcome in the Watchman.
You're listening to Warn Radio on the WIBR Warn Radio Network. Don't forget to visit our websites at warn-usa.com and danaglennsmith.com. And also follow us on Twitter, find us on Instagram, and join us on LinkedIn. Greetings. Welcome to another. Yep, that's right. Absolutely, that's correct. It is Friday. You know, I lived for years and years, and Fridays never made a difference. And worked every weekend. I catered on all the holidays. I remember, you know, I've made so many meals in restaurants that it'd make your head spin. I've chefed restaurants. I've done a lot of professional. I've owned my own restaurant, my own catering business, and a lot of other things. But today, I don't even go to them, hardly. I retired out of the restaurant quite some time ago. And began a final chapter in Warning America. Now, this ain't the final chapter for the believers in Yahshua Jesus. But it will be the final chapter for many people. And many times it's going to be not their fault. Because the people that are in charge think you're nothing but a bunch of chattel. You know, possessions, things they can own and throw away. Now, they're not all like that. And I've known of two in my life that were well known. And when I was interviewing a lot of people, I interviewed certain persons. One of which told me a story. And he knew some high-ranking, you know, the ilk of the Kennedys, the Rothschilds, and such. Now, he wasn't of those families. He was of another family, but he was well known. And they all liked him. They were all about the same age. They said, you need to come join us. Because if you don't, you're going to die. Because we've got everything set up. And we're going to be doing real good while the rest of the world is going to be wasting away. He declined. And he's dead today. Passed along some time ago. And it was sad. I interviewed him twice. He was an actor. And he was also a famous Indian. Yep. And he lived over here, not too far. Well, it is a drive. I say not too far. It's a state up. Or over from us, I should say. I came across another guy interviewing. He had been a Black Ops sniper. And we got to talking about the New World Order. And he told about the assassinations. He told me about the the cartels and some of the black ops stuff they were assigned to. It's good that he got out of it. And then he got saved. And that's about the time I came to know him. And he'd say, you know, there's a lot of black people that I worked with. And he says, I'm not talking about, you know, the blacks or the Negroes. I'm talking about people that are black-hearted. And they are in the military, they are high up in the government, and they're just as black and dark-hearted as you could get. And he says, when they get ready to take over America, this was years ago, he told me. He said, they're going to get the gangs and stuff in the inner cities, and they're going to cause trouble. They're going to steal and thieve, cause all kinds of trouble, because they're in the process of taking over America then. Does that sound familiar to you? Yeah, well, when I interviewed him, oh man, probably 18 years ago. Been a long time. And time goes by so fast. You see, I got out of interviewing like that because the Lord spoke to me, said, I never called you to do that. And so that's why today we just teach the Word of God. I was doing news then, and we had covered ISIS going through Syria and Iraq. Matter of fact, we won a Twitter award for, what was it, the top activity on our, because we had so much stuff going through and so many people liked it. They were listening to the news that we were covering, and we got all of our news from, everybody has a cell phone, so that's how I got information. It's from them. I got it from overseas. But time goes by so fast, and here we are today, and everybody in America knows about Antifa and BLM. We know the riots. We know that they had huge fires in California, Seattle, Washington. They took over the streets. The police couldn't do much. Matter of fact, in a lot of these areas, they removed a lot of the police. It had followed exactly what that Black Ops guy had told me. You could look and see it happening. I wrote a book too, several books, but this one was The Rising. And I used that scenario in my book, along with a number of other things that I had felt was going on. And it turned out to be a prophetic book. And I finished it before COVID. So when we started going into COVID, and and then they started rioting on the streets and causing troubles, and then they became anti-white, and the blacks were, wanting reparations. All this is following a pattern. And of course, the other pattern is to get rid of the whites. Now, you see, I can tell you who it is up there that's doing a lot of the power struggles. They're white. They're Caucasian, most of them. Yeah. See, you're only acceptable if you're white and rich and part of their group, their clique. See, but if they can get the rest of the world squabbling over color and race, then they've got her made.